Hello and welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live music channel. My name is Chris Alla and I will be your host for today's broadcast. Today's program is about the Sound Espressivo live stream experience. This is a wonderful topic and I have some videos with our co-founder of Virtual Concert Halls and Sound Espressivo, FEDOR Ouspensky, to show you about the tech side of what we do. We discuss the technology it takes, the live stream experience, and how we make you sound your best for the Sound Espressivo live auditions and all the amazing things we have coming up this season. And we are really passionate about connecting musicians and audiences in real time, musical performances, and live programs from around the globe. Welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live music channel. My name is Chris Au and I'll be your host for today's show. What are we doing today? We are going to show you the live stream experience, the technological side, and how to prepare for everything you need to showcase your talent and your music around the world. It's not as difficult as it seems, and with our world being inundated with technology and media, it's becoming more and more important to have these kind of things prepared at home or on the go in order to best showcase your music as well as maybe your voice and to be able to interact with an audience. We want to highlight today our co-founder of Virtual Concert Halls and Sound Espressivo Competition, FEDOR Ouspensky, who is an incredible musician, and all of our tech team are also amazing musicians who know how to play chamber music with all this technology we have with us so that we can broadcast your music to the best of its abilities. We are warming up our season and our algorithm and our interaction with you for our upcoming season ahead. We are going to show you some interviews we did with guest artists and performers and music promoters from previous seasons, but we are also warming up to have guest artists live for interviews and for panel discussions coming up very soon. So if you're interested in being interviewed by us or to highlight your program or what you want to do, we are here for you. Sound Espressivo, along with progressive musicians and choral orchestra, are doing an amazing season that we would love for you to be a part of. Right? We are broadcasted on all social media platforms and we have incredible partners with us for this coming season. So make sure you don't miss out on any of this really amazing stuff. We also want to show you how to apply and how to make best use of our season so you can be a part of our Carnegie Hall auditions as well as many other opportunities we have ahead. But before that, we're going to show you a little glimpse of what this competition and our season ahead looks like with this promo clip. Welcome back. Our upcoming season is amazing. You just watched a promo clip of all the amazing events we have happening just this season. We are a young competition and audition platform, but we are also really amazingly willing and excited to highlight and showcase your music. So please If you have any questions for us, if you want to be a part of our programs, if you would like to apply and play in Carnegie Hall, I mean, who doesn't? Please make sure you write to us. But you can also go to soundespressivocompetition.com and check out our season. I want to introduce the guest for today, whose clips I'm showing you from previous seasons, and his name is FEDOR Ouspensky, incredible violinist and tech director, as well as co-founder of Virtual Concert Halls and Sound Espressivo Competition. He is a dear friend of mine and a dear friend of all the team that we have behind the scenes. He started taking lessons on the violin at the age of 5 at the Levine School of Music in Washington, D.C. He studied with Naoko Tanaka at the Juilliard School, Oleg Relatko at the National Symphony Orchestra Fellowship Program, and with the amazing, legendary Aaron Roseanne privately. He also studied with conducting with Maestro Mark McCoy and Maestro Glazer, and is not done with conducting yet, as I am quite sure of. In 2009, he became one of the founding performers organization in the Washington, D.C. area, which provides classical music concert to retirement communities. Teaching musicians is another one of Fedor's passions. He has taught young students of many different ages and levels, and he has also coached young violinists in preparation for youth and school orchestra auditions. He is the co-founder of Virtual Concert Halls as well as Sound Espressivo Competition. He currently teaches at Quarter Tones Music, as well as having his own private studio. He holds first prize in the FEDOR Memorial String Competition and has won many international music prizes. FEDOR was was also behind one of the most professional virtual tech groups I've ever encountered, directing many programs with musicians of the highest caliber, and we are all really proud to have worked with him. And this is a small little clip of what he does, first of all, but also what is involved in the tech direction as well as the producer side of things, making sure you sound your best no matter where you're from, no matter where you're at, in order to audition live and play for judges. Enjoy.
Go to the bottom middle, there should be a setting called Cam Mic. Go to the audio tab. And there should be a setting called Stereo Audio. Can you turn that on by clicking on it? Is it on now?
Yep.
Does it ask you to refresh or no?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. And then go to the camera tab in there on the left, and then click on Show Advanced Options and make sure that you have the highest resolution selected.
Okay. Sorry? Can you go again to cam mic settings? I'm not sure that you are stereo settings, that you have the right settings. Yeah, you should turn stereo audio on. Stereo audio should be on and echo cancellation off. Yeah, okay, great, thanks. Your microphone is very good, but it shouldn't stay on the piano. I think it's touching the piano. Can it be moved?
This tiny bit is...
Yeah, it shouldn't touch any of the piano because of the vibrations. Yeah, it's still... Sorry. Let's try to take it outside of the piano. It's too much inside the piano, yeah. It's speaking too much.
Can we raise the camera so it's looking a little bit higher from above, as opposed to like this? And maybe a little bit in distance so we can see full piano. A little bit farther away.
Farther away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But now you can see the lights.
That's okay, we can move the lights out of the frame.
Yeah.
Go to the bottom middle, there should be a setting called...
Wow, that's just part of what we do here. And we have an amazing tech crew as well as directors behind the scene to make sure you sound the best, but also look your best. And we know a lot of things because the team, are all musicians who are used to recording themselves, who are used to knowing the environment, the acoustics, and we love cooperating. What you're seeing behind the scenes is actually in the green room, in the tech green room, which we put you in before you are even remotely close to being live broadcasted all over the world. And we test and check everything, make sure you keep all the same settings. We teach you how to change things behind the scenes, and we also have sort of a grid and a table for us to move things like your microphone settings and all that, just so that you can sound your best. And by the time you're back on the live audition room to perform and to be on the virtual stage, all you have to do is relax, sit back, and play. I know that's a lot more nerve-wracking than it seems, but we don't want you to be worrying about your tech as you go. So we do all of the stuff beforehand to make sure that's possible. And what do you need to do beforehand? Well, this is sort of what we're going to go through today, right? This world of live streaming is becoming more and more fascinating. It's becoming bigger. You have gamers who are making a living from live streaming, and I'm sure musicians can hop onto that as a part of what they do. A lot of musicians go on to Instagram Live or Facebook Live or TikTok Live in order to promote their music and to have interactions with people, in order to have questions asked of them during their performances, or even have live requests of performances. So part of what we do is prepare you, but we also know that if you're familiar with this, you can go on and take on the whole world with what you have. So I want to show you a little clip about this whole world of live streaming, which FEDOR knows very well, and it's integral to our society now, especially post-pandemic. Enjoy. So can you share with us your experience with virtual concert halls and with live streaming performances? What have you learned from these experiences live streaming your music?
I think it's just such a empowering, I guess, experience to see live streaming be so prominent and so many people get interested in being part of it, and it just really, I think, unites the community around music, around live performance, around talking about music, and all of those things that seem to have kind of become, people were worried that it was going to become less present because of the pandemic, and I think that we've been able to really bring back that that energy that people have, and really highlight the musicians that are maybe still stuck at home, but they're still able to express themselves and do all kinds of programs and talk about music. It's really fun.
What I also like about live streaming is, with the rise of Twitch, which is a sort of a game. Usually, gamers use it to stream of what they're doing on the games. And what happens also is there's sort of a currency and a market involved, where if you're marketable, you're actually able to get a lot of donations as you are performing. And so a lot of musicians actually have moved to Twitch as well to stream the performances and potentially get donations and people fueling them. So which enables, I think, more than just what YouTube or Facebook Live has to offer, which is just the performance itself, and it's free, but you're actually able to get donations for it. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, Twitch definitely has a lot of success. I think it definitely gives a lot of options for people to be able to stream on their own, and a lot of younger generation people are very, very involved in the streaming world. There's TikTok as well, where you do little bit-sized videos, and that's, and you still get to communicate with your audience, and you still get to express yourself, and a lot of platforms exist out there for this kind of purpose. And I think that being able to also see a future of successfully being in the entertainment business with a lot of avenues for unique expression, I think is great. Yeah, there are definitely musicians who are on Twitch, and there are musicians here as well. And we do stream a lot to Facebook, and I think there's a big community of musicians and lots of groups that unite musicians around different focuses and composers or different types of performers. That's really fun as well. So yeah, it's definitely a very active world out there on the virtual stage, and I think that's why it's so important to know how to live stream and how that kind of thing works, so you can join in on this kind of thing.
Absolutely. He brings a really important point, FEDOR, that the younger generation now is really interested in the virtual world. If you think about virtual reality, if you think about gaming, if you think about the world of live streaming and revolving around gaming, people are watching on YouTube and on Twitch and all these different platforms. They're watching people game. They're watching people interact with other gamers. There's a whole different world out there in the virtual world that we could definitely bring the arts to. And there are many people now looking into how can we use virtual reality in concert halls, and if we can bring that technology to other people, that's going to be incredible. Can you imagine if you go to a concert of your favorite artist or your favorite musician or your favorite orchestra, and everyone gets the same seat, but you get to watch from home and experience the surround sound as though you are in the concert hall. And perhaps with virtual reality, you can even travel within the concert hall and look around and maybe have a little seat next to the musician as they're playing. These are all possibilities that we're just starting to touch upon. And thanks to the pandemic, well, maybe no thanks to, but because of the pandemic, we are starting to fast forward into this kind of world. But for the time being, what virtual concert halls and Sound Espressivo Competition offers is a chance for you to showcase your music all around the world, live, broadcasted on many different social media platforms. And what that does is it allows you to play at home. Plays in the comfort, you can play in the comfort of your own home or in a studio, or even we are broadcasting from concert halls as well. We have the technology for all of that, and we have the tech crew to make it happen. So the next clip I'm going to show you highlights more of this advantages of the live stream experience. What are the positives? What are the benefits of doing so? I think also with live streaming, especially on Twitch, or if you're able to develop a YouTube channel of yourself, what happens is that you're actually able to develop a fan base, and they're actually able to interact with you. You know, with a meet and greet, you know, VIP, you feel like it's only the, you know, the very special people who get to meet the artists backstage. But with live streaming, especially with Twitch, you're able to communicate and interact with the artists just by chatting and leaving comments, etc. I think it's a more intimate way to interact with artists.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think like one of the almost drawbacks of live performance in person is that you're stuck seeing the performance, and a lot of the times the performer who may have been the soloist, for example, is going to go backstage, and then they're going to either immediately leave, or they're going to only see a couple of their, you know, close and personal friends and backstage, and then they're just going to you know, disappear, and you're not going to be able to catch a moment to talk to them or anything like that. Whereas live streaming is kind of, I think it's promoting an environment where there's no like weird power almost dynamic of like, oh, there's the performer and they're unachievable and you can't even talk to them, and they're like something to, I don't know, not worship, but something to kind of like look up to, and you can't really get to have a conversation with them on a level, you know, like they're another person or something. And I think that it kind of humanizes, streaming definitely humanizes a lot of maybe idols or other people like that, and it just creates the culture that we're all people and we're all just here to you know, find a way to express ourselves. And musicians are just much more their profession is kind of tied to emotional expression and finding a way to connect with you emotionally through a venue, a form of like music or something, and I think that's really cool.
Live streaming offers a much more intimate experience with the performer, and this is a really incredible thing that FEDOR is talking about, because everyone watching this show, for example, feels like I'm talking directly to them. And if I were a performing musician right now and performing to you, I can interact with you. And if you show comments on YouTube, if you write a comment or you write a request, and this can be shown like just like that. And so we have the technology to do this now. And what that really makes me think about is how interactive, how much more of a democratic environment we have between the audience and the artist. Previously, sort of interaction with artists are only, they only come about when you have sort of VIP experiences, or you have to wait ages backstage for the artist to come out, and maybe you can get a selfie or a picture of them or some sort of interaction. We're becoming much more obsessed with podcasts and interviews with these high performers, whether they're athletes or anyone out there, artists, etc. And what we're creating with live streaming and technology is a much more broad and democratic environment where anyone can access these people and hear them speak. And if you can offer comments and different things to them, they can interact with you. And I feel like that is a really beautiful way where we're using technology to bridge these gaps. And that way we get an insight to see their world and what they're doing and all of that. So this is sort of the philosophical and the world side of live streaming and what we're doing. But I want to talk to you a bit more now about the technology that it involves. And of course, you can go really high budget, as you can see in many of the top podcasts out there with different camera angles and different microphones and the people behind the scenes to put up certain graphics and things as you're going on. But what I think is also really cool, and we'll talk about this, is that it doesn't require that much technology to start. And as you go, you can improve, and we'll talk about that. But I want to first show you a little clip that Fedor prepared, and we discussed this revolving around this beginning of what we require on our virtual concert halls and Sound Espressivo. Do we use laptops and phones? Do we use tablets, or do we use big PCs? What do we use? Check it out. So this is how we're going to talk a little bit about what technology you need to prepare for the live stream, and I'm going to ask Fedor some questions as we go on. So let's keep going to the next one. So do you need a very complicated computer or router? What do you recommend to just get yourself live streaming, Fedor?
So yeah, definitely you don't need anything expensive, but you definitely don't want to be using anything mobile, like laptop, tablet. The problem with those things is that they also, not only are they weaker processing, so that means they're less likely to be able to give you the consistency and the quality that you would want. So that it's not like distracting from what you're doing on the stream, but also that they have also automatic settings that they will do, and that will mess with your ability to get your microphone to work a certain way. One of the biggest struggles actually with streaming for musicians is that we're playing an instrument, and the instrument can either blast the microphone for like one of these most simplest problems. It just blasts it and overloads, and it just starts to crackle and all those kind of things. And with mobile devices, it's actually pretty difficult, if not impossible, to adjust the levels of gain on the microphone that's built into the device. And there's just so little customization because it's designed for portability and designed for ease of use. So it's designed really for conversation like this. Maybe for conversation like this you could get away with an iPad, but I don't think you could get away with it with performances, which is kind of our whole thing with virtual consoles, is to host performances that are live and not pre-recorded or anything like that.
Yeah, it's important to emphasize that a live stream performance is not a Zoom call or any sort of like chat that you have on Skype or anything. It requires a lot more nuances in technology, in seeing you and hearing you. So, wow. So what's really cool is, to start off, you need a laptop and something proper. What I've discovered also with live streaming is it seems like a lot to invest in the tech at first, but then all of the stuff that you have, as we discuss later on, they're usable for other things as well. And the more you upgrade your technology, upgrade your setup, it becomes a thing you can use in different circumstances, and it's applicable everywhere. And with the virtual concert halls and Sound Espressivo auditions coming up, and the more we do, the more performances we have lined up, you can use this again and again. So it's an investment not just for one show, it's an investment for the future. And if you get certain nice lighting, you can use that everywhere, all the time, even in a little professional video shoot or photo shoot. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the internet connection now and other technology, but we're starting off with making sure you have a good router. You want a connected connection with an Ethernet cable, as well as using a proper laptop or a PC or a MacBook or some sort of Mac, so that you have enough processing power to manage all of this without things lagging on. So the next clip will talk about the other tech, and I want you to check that out as well. Connecting by Ethernet cable, so you have a very solid connection. And as Fedor introduced to us, an external USB streaming microphone, and also an external USB webcam. So I think these are essential purchases, and I don't think they're actually that expensive. What are your thoughts, Fedor? Like, to get something good like this isn't really that expensive.
So I'm pretty sure the microphone that was in the video is about $20 to $25, and plus a few dollars shipping. And I think it also comes with Prime, which a lot of people use have Prime nowadays, Amazon Prime. So if you have that, it's free shipping as well within a day. So even if it's last minute you want to join. For Mike, that was for Mike. For webcam, I think it's also maybe $30. So you're looking at like under $60. I mean, if you buy Ethernet cable, you're not going to go over 100. There's no way you're going to get to triple digits and have like the most basic essentials that will work. They won't give you like studio recording setup where you could record and send to a competition and win kind of thing, but it will definitely allow you to join us, and we'll definitely be able to also kind of help tweak things around. It'll just give us enough to be able to set you up, and you could do it.
Absolutely. And I want to emphasize, like, this is not just a one-hit wonder sort of thing. Once you buy these equipment, you can then do your own live streaming on Facebook. And one of the prizes that are actually given from Virtual Concert Halls is a kind of a more in-depth guide to how to do your own live streaming, which I think either you or Frane is a part of giving, right?
Yeah, and then like also like I'm just thinking about like the shelf life is because you're talking about like, oh, is this the one? Shelf life of a webcam is like 5+ years at least. Webcams never break, like unless you literally throw it across the room or something, because you're just so mad at how your face looks, I don't know. Or how your person you're talking to looks.
that can happen.
No, but yeah, webcams have amazing shelf life. Microphones have slightly less so amazing shelf life, but just incredible. Like 5+ years on mics, and I'd say 7+ years on webcams. If you just like, I mean, the webcam is just sitting on your monitor, and that's it. Yeah, and then I think there was also like the Ethernet cable thing that was mentioned. So internet connection is quite important, and depending on location, you might have really bad wireless connection. But Ethernet is always going to be an upgrade to whatever your wireless is, because it's a direct line. So there's no like, oh, walls. Because one of the things people don't think about is the walls and the floors. If you're like a floor away from your router, and if there's a wall in between, even the door closed open, like, just having any kind of object that's in between your router and where you're receiving the connection from is going to create fluctuations, because that signal is going to bounce off the walls. And it's going to be weaker, and it's going to be less consistent. Consistency is really, really important.
Yeah, it doesn't. A lot of people who will say, "Oh, I have a great internet connection," but if they're connected by Wi-Fi, and like you said, there's a door, or they're upstairs and the router's downstairs, you just have too many obstacles, and the signal can get lost sometimes. So Ethernet cable, I have to say, it's a lifesaver. And you can get really long ones too. I think I've got like a 5 to 10 meter one, and I just connect it to anywhere I'm at. I say I need an Ethernet cable connection. It just gives me steady. I mean, even if you're not live streaming, but you're like watching something on Netflix, or you're having conversations with people online, is just so much smoother.
Oh yeah, that's another good point. People don't think about this, but bandwidth is definitely still a part of internet, whether it's Ethernet or not. I mean, Ethernet connection means it's going to prioritize making sure that there's consistency to whatever's connected wirelessly versus the ones that are connected wirelessly. So not only that, but also if your kid is like downloading a show from YouTube or something, or they're just doing some kind of like heavy duty stuff, that's going to also lower the bandwidth that you have for your stream. Streaming is definitely the highest bandwidth, one of the highest bandwidth consistently things that you can do online. That's why it's so important to buy equipment.
Yeah, and if you're going to invest in doing this, you might as well do something good, so you give yourself the best experience possible. And
imagine if you get disconnected while you're giving a performance, like how much of a letdown is that?
It would just be disappointing for everyone, and yourself, and you just feel, oh, I don't want to do it again. This was such a horrible experience for me. Wow, so just to summarize for everybody, Ethernet cable, very important thing. Briefly, I'm using a Zoom H5 microphone right now, which I think is the best investment I have ever made. Back then, when I first bought it, it was about $200 US. Now the price has risen to about $300, but I still think it's worthwhile getting. I have a Logitech webcam, and I have my lifesaver, which is the Ethernet cable. Now, all these are investments, but they're investments for the best streaming experience. The thing about live streaming is you don't always know what the people out there are getting. And we have tech producers to make sure what the audience is getting is really good. But sometimes, as a person performing, you want to make sure you're giving yourself the best chance to produce something that people out there are going to enjoy, and not have any sudden lagging things, right? You don't want that. You want everything to be smooth, and if it's a connection problem, it's the last thing you want. You don't want to be stopped in the middle of a performance because you find out no one's getting any of the things that you're playing. So just to reinstate and to review, inexpensive equipment that's worthwhile investing into. You want to make sure you get a great Ethernet cable, and that will prioritize your bandwidth. You get the best bandwidth and also the most steady and consistent connection. Now, we'll go to the next clip, which is testing speed and using headphones. And this will give you another little depth in terms of what we do behind the scenes. Testing your connection, and I think that's quite an important part as well of this whole process, that you do test your connection, that you make sure that you can use one of these sites, or you can even just Google test your internet connection, and you'll find the Google has their own one, and it's just important to do that. The next one is actually using earbuds and headphones versus using speakers. Can you talk a little bit about, you see a lot of podcasters, they all have headphones on. What is all this about?
So something people don't think about as well is that if you're listening to someone when you're talking to them and it's playing through a speaker, what can happen is the microphone that's right next to that speaker could pick up the other person talking to you and then play that other person's audio that you're hearing through your mic back to them. And so what's going to happen is when I talk, say if I wasn't wearing headphones and Chris was talking, it would play that into my mic, and then Chris would hear himself back, like maybe a second later, and that's extremely distracting. And you can even hear it on the broadcast as well if you're trying to stream. So the headphones are really important if you have more than one person and you're talking. Yeah, extremely important. It can be earbuds, you can do Bluetooth. It really doesn't matter as long as the audio isn't playing through a speaker and it's not audible for the microphone. That's really important.
Mm-hmm. So then that's another thing you have to invest in. But I have to say, most people already have their own headphones and earbuds. It's not like that you have to invest another thing, but it's important to use like pretty good ones, right? Yeah,
you'd be surprised. There are a lot of people who do come in with us with speakers, and or they use a laptop and they just use everything built in. You do need earbuds. You do, at the least, if you're going to use a laptop setup and you have everything built in, you have a webcam, you have a then you at least need some kind of earbuds to listen to.
So important to have headphones. I mean, I'm using these. I also have the over ear ones as well, and they're a lifesaver. I mean, the reality is that if you're a musician and you're recording yourself and you're doing all of this stuff in order to submit things online, but also for an audience to hear online, you're going to need a lot of this technology. So just to summarize, like a Zoom H5 or some, which is about $300 US, but you can also get a Blue Yeti mic, which is much cheaper, about $120 US if you get a good one. A good webcam, a good set of headphones, Ethernet cable, making sure your internet connection is solid. These are all things that are definitely worthwhile investing in, and they don't just apply for that 1 hour that you're giving that performance or live. It's something that you can continuously use. So the last thing I want to talk about very briefly, and I want to show you a clip, is sort of the lighting for live streams. And it's not always optimum. People have different lighting setups. You can use one of those ring lights, which are very popular. And I think those are probably one of the best investments too, because they're not that expensive, that you can change sort of the brightness level, but also sort of the color of the light that's coming out, depending on how you want it to look. And so this next clip talks a little bit about lighting, and I hope you enjoy. The last thing I think we showed is the lighting. So lighting is probably the last little thing. Speaking of lighting, the sun is coming in. It's making everything look, making me look horrible. So I might have to throw this one in the bin too. So lighting is quite important to get the look. A lot of streamers will use different lighting sources here and there to give a depth of field in order to kind of enhance the look. You want to be quite close up to the camera and to be in focus, but you want there to feel like there's something in the background that's going on. So lighting is quite important, and you can invest in these things. Lighting, a ring light, which I have, isn't that expensive. It's about $50.
Yeah, lighting can get like kind of like, oh, I don't know what to buy. How do I know what to buy? The most important thing is just don't have the lighting pointed at you from the back. Get it pointed from, like, your webcam's in front of you. Lighting should be not behind, like, me. It should be in front of me. Otherwise, it'll look like I'm a dark, shadowy murder in some scene, and there's, and all you can see is just the room darkness, and that's it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It'll look creepy instead of you'll see. Yeah. So you want the light from here forward.
Yeah, if you trust the sun to be your light source, it can be difficult. Sometimes you have the sun coming right through and the camera will have to adjust. So a lot of different lighting options are available. And honestly, people who do sort of YouTube videos, they actually get curtains, blackout curtains, so that they can fully control the light that they are using. And they have different sort of lighting setups. But these can that can be quite expensive. But a simple setup with a ring light or something like that will be just sufficient. Now, all of this said, I hope that you'll seriously consider joining us for this upcoming season. We have a really incredible season up ahead. 4 different Carnegie Hall audition gala events. We have 4 different opportunities to play with orchestras from all around the world, and many different other opportunities from classical music, for example, with audience favorite awards. We have so many different connections we're building with music promoters all around the world. It's an incredible season, and I want for you to apply. And this tech broadcast is designed in a way to help you get to know what you need to prepare for it. Apart from the musical things, which is important, which we also talk about in different broadcasts, we want to tell you about the tech side of things and show you that, yeah, it's possible. You can do it and you can bring it in, and we'd love to have you. And so this is a little video just to promote what's happening this season. I hope you enjoy. Hey, check this out. I know you have always dreamed of performing in Carnegie Hall. So I think this 2023 to 2024 season at Sound Espressivo will be perfect for you. As a platform, we host live online auditions so you can share your music with the entire world. Then we send you to incredible in-person venues like Carnegie Hall so you can perform solo, as a duo, as an ensemble, and with orchestra. This year we have a total of 4 gala events at Carnegie Hall, as well as 4 different opportunities to perform with orchestras in the US, in the Czech Republic, and even in Egypt. We want to help you fulfill your musical dreams. Go to soundespressivocompetition.com to check out our season and to apply. But there you have it, right? I just want to emphasize also that this upcoming season is one of the most exciting ones we are doing yet, and we are on a journey to create even more opportunities. So if you're watching from LinkedIn or YouTube or Facebook, and you are a music producer, you're a music promoter, you have venues and even orchestra or ensemble that you want to get out there and have young musicians perform in, this is the perfect place for it to be. Right? The fact that you're watching this on LinkedIn and watching all our seasons, we've been doing this since year 1. We've been doing this since the beginning. And so we're just getting more experience and more expertise on how to manage everything. And we can do video editing, social media management, and put all of this together so that your organization and your ensemble, whatever it is that you want to show the world, is available for young musicians, but also for yourselves. One extra thing, composers. If you're out there and you're watching and you want to be a part of this, we will play your music. We will find performers to play your music, young performers at that too. And what better way for your music to be performed than at Carnegie Hall and some of the biggest venues and live, all broadcasted all over the world. People are watching this show at the same time as you on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and all our incredible social media platforms that are out there. So I encourage you to check us out. You can go to soundespressivocompetition.com, progressivemusician.com, or choreorchestra.com to see all that. And I want to thank all of our sponsors. Sponsors out there, we love you. Thank you so much for supporting us, from Brilliant Talent Discovery all the way to Colburn School, from Adult Oaks Music Library, everybody who's been there from the beginning, everyone who's supporting us now, including our new partners in different orchestras all around the world, literally. We are specializing in a sort of hybrid model of online organizations, music organizations that operate online as well as in-person, and in-person venues. And this is just the beginning. We're doing so many things to make sure that artists and performers around the world get heard. And you can be a jazz musician, a world musician, a musician of different genres, musical theater, opera singer, a musical theater performer. Whatever you are, please consider checking us out if you want your performances to be broadcast around the world. I also want to give a huge thanks and a big clap to our team. Our amazing team who have been with us a very long time, developing, working together. We are so glad you are part of us, that you have been there, and we wouldn't be able to do this without you. So big hand to our team. And with that, we are doing shows every day at noon. Every day, you heard that right, at noon, we're doing shows to promote our program, but also in hopes to include you and to highlight the things we're capable of, and to show you that this is a platform that doesn't concern itself too much on ourselves and promoting us, but we want to promote you. We want to be a platform that highlights you and gives you the connections so you can soar in this world of music today. We will browse through topics on career, competition preparation, the music industry, and much more. So make sure you continue to tune in at 12 and at 10 a.m. We have also a different show as well. Many shows coming up. We look forward to seeing you there next time. Everyone, have a great day.
No matter where you are or who you are, music connects us all. We started with a dream, but now we are paving the future. Welcome to the Sound Espressivo Global Competition. Fully virtual, yet bringing musicians closer together than ever before, now on a global scale. True live, inclusivity, diversity, connection, community, an extraordinary array of judges. Get noticed by companies all over the world. Prizes, scholarships, performance opportunities. Apply to be a part of the most exciting congregation of artists, like nothing you've ever seen before. We guarantee quality and leave no musician behind. We can't wait to hear you on the virtual stage.